Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Now, Rachel Reeves has got a massive problem. The problem is in the shape of a £50 billion black hole, and she hasn't got a clue how to fill it. Well, she has, but she doesn't want to go that way because it would be breaking a manifesto promise. It would be difficult for her, and it would make life very difficult for Keir Starmer. That, of course, would be to raise income tax. Many experts think that that's exactly what she's going to do, maybe going up 3, 4, or even 5 pence in the pound. And that's at the basic rate. Now, of course, that is embarrassing for Labour anyway, but it will also put a lot of people over the edge. Some people are only just hanging on. Paying all that extra tax may push them over, and that's them finished kind of thing. What else is she thinking? Well, to obviate the problem against the income tax, she's looking now at inheritance. Not only is she considering upping the rate at which inheritance tax is paid, but also lowering the threshold. That I will talk about in a moment. Because another thing she's looking at is changing the gifting rules. At the moment, you have various small things. You can give so much for a wedding, so much for gifts. You can provide a small stipend and things like that. And they're all tax-free as long as they don't go above certain amounts for certain relatives. Depends on how close you are to the person. But the big one is the lifetime gift. So at the moment, I could, if I had the money, I don't have the money, but I could give my son £1 million and he would be liable for 40% tax on that should I die in the first 3 years. If I make it to the 4th year, he only pays 32%. Then the 5th year, he pays 24%. The 6th year, he pays 16%. And if I die in the 7th year, he pays 8%. And if I live until the end of the 7th year, he doesn't pay tax at all. So it's a waiting game. It's a guesswork game. If I give you the money now, can I live another 7 years? Basically. That's how this works. And that is why, for so many, inheritance tax is a voluntary tax. Because you can move vast amounts of money from you to other people. And as long as you live long enough, no tax is paid at all. The only people who pay inheritance tax are idiots and the unlucky. The idiots are the ones who don't plan for it. And the unlucky are the ones who did, but died too quickly. Unlucky. But she wants to change that. She wants to reduce the qualifying time so that you don't have to wait 7 years. You may have to wait 9 years before you get the rate reduction. She wants to put a cap on how much it is. It's rumoured, not confirmed, that it may be as low as £1 million. I know that sounds a lot. But for those over the million, that would actually represent an awful lot of money. And then she may even tinker with the rates, as I say. Now, the problem they've got, if they reduce the level at which inheritance tax comes in, a lot of people just simply move the money out of the country. And it's easily done. It's not that hard. Not in today's world where you're, a few clicks on a keyboard and boom, all your money is now sitting in a bank account in Dubai, for example. Of course, they don't think like that. They still think it's the 1970s and people are putting, bags full of cash and putting it, going out of the country with a suitcase filled with £20 notes. That's not how it works now. Let me move my money. Boom, gone, done. Bye. And there's nothing they can do. If they put and change the inheritance rules in terms of the gifting, that will also force a lot of people away, but for a different reason. This time is to avoid the tax altogether by moving to countries, and there are many of them, where there is no inheritance tax whatsoever. And that way you go over, you get your golden visa or whatever. You have to invest £500,000. Oh, that's fine. There we go. I'll buy that company. Boom. There's £500,000. Okay, you can sit here. As long as you don't break the laws for 5 years, you become a citizen. Well, hey, at the moment you're a citizen, boom. You don't pay inheritance tax. That's easy, isn't it? It's not hard. If you got the money, it's easy. It's how the rich do it. So even more money will leave the country, and any expected income from inheritance tax will shrink. So by putting the rates up or by changing the gifting levels, she'll actually, once again, like she has with every other tax, get less in. They don't want to admit this, but they do know it. They are absolutely aware that every single tax that she has applied, be it, tax on education, has resulted in less tax coming in than came in before. By putting up national insurance, they're now taking in less national insurance than they did before. And in fact, this will continue in every way, shape, and form because they have no idea what they're doing. And this is another tax where she's going to go, I'm going to raise the taxes. And then be going, why am I getting less money? I tell you, Rachel, it's because you're an idiot. But the millions and billions that will leave the country over this will be astonishing. And that only applies, of course, to people who currently would be harmed by the existing tax rules. If she makes it harder, more and more people will be inclined to do it. Of course. Now, I'm not at that level of wealth at the moment where I need to worry about this. But if she reduces the level at which inheritance tax is paid, well, I've got a very nice house, I have investments. I could well hit that level. At that point, I'll start looking to maybe offshore funds, maybe take other means to avoid, which is a legal term, avoidance is legal, evasion is illegal, but I'd look to ways to avoid tax. Now, I won't give any advice to you to say to do things, that would be quite wrong, but I've heard tales of people who have, say, for example, taken a lot of cash out and went and bought gold coins. They've then kept them in a little bag in a drawer at home. And when they did cark it, of course, they had no money. So there was no inheritance tax. But, say, their offspring found a little bag of gold coins. And at sort of £3,000 odd pounds per coin, it didn't half soon add up, for example. And as long as you don't cash more than 2 or 3 of them a year, you're under the radar. Nobody ever knows. And you just quietly feed that money in. Boom, boom, boom. Over time, make your investments, and away you go. And no tax is paid. That's one example. I'm not saying that's the correct one, of course, because I don't want to get in trouble with the tax man. But I'm just saying that is something that I know somebody has done. God bless him and all who sailed him. He's long dead now, of course. So even the tax man can't go after him. But that was there. That was then. How bad do you think it's going to be if they keep pushing? There's going to be more and more avoidance, more and more evasion, and more people leaving and taking their money with them. Because Reeves doesn't understand money or people. Thanks very much. Bye.